Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. Powered by gamblersWORLD.net. It is Monday, September the 30th. Sean Higgs coming at you as always. At the Monday crew, Chip Chirimbes, Doug Upstone. We got some Major League Baseball playoff action to talk about. But before we get to that, let's talk the business of the business here. Like button on the Winner Circle YouTube channel. Give us all a follow on the Twitter, the X World, gamblersWORLD.net for our premium stuff. Yes, we do free picks here. Last week, what did we go? 1-1, 2-2, 3-2, 4-3, 5-5, 6, 7 and 5, 7 and 6. Not the best week of free picks. I'm doing my part. 4-2 in college football, 6-1 in NFL. So the football's been good. For me, at least. I'm just saying, I keep track of everybody's, but I'm just saying myself because I'm the one who keeps track of my notes here.
Hey Chip,
Friday.
I just have a quick question. Chip, did you just get the feeling like you were just thrown under the bus on that one? I'm just asking your opinion on that.
Listen, I'm not going to break down you, Chip, Brian, Victor, King, and Mark. I'm not going to break down everybody individually. I'm just throwing out since we started Football Fridays. We are 10-5. I was just throwing out my record on Football Fridays, college football, how I've been doing. So you guys, come on! You guys are on the leaderboards. I'm like this, so I'm gonna hype the free pick stuff. But the premium where you want to get Chip Chirimbes is A Play and Megabucks and Doug Stop Plays. gamblersWORLD.net 3 7/38 packages guaranteed. Show you profit or you get credit back till we make you money. Doug gives you the little early rundown, right? Tuesdays it comes out or Wednesdays, which are a little early.
Yes, the line moves articles, and there'll be one up on Tuesday. Let's see here. Right now, 19 and 14 in college. Okay, picks. So not bad. Okay, I mean, I'm not choosing these games. Choosing them because of the line moves, not because I like them. You know, so that's 19 and 14 there. In the NFL, this is. Let's see here. Interesting. So my record is 2 games below 500 on that, but there's some betting trends that I also post on these articles on Fridays. Betting trends NFL. If you play against what the public is betting, 9-3. If you play with what the public is betting on the totals, 9-2. And if you want, go check out Friday's article because there's a play in one of the 2 games tonight on the total. So that's of note. And betting trends on the public on college football, 16-9. So some good numbers to follow.
There you go. And we have NFL tonight. We're not really going to talk about that. Again, premium stuff at gamblersWORLD.net, NFL doubleheader. I'll be doing a live show 7 p.m. tonight. If you want to pop in, I'll throw up some player props. You come in, chat. Maybe some other cappers will pop in. We'll see. That's always a play it by ear kind of show, but I'll always be there. And, of course, on Football Friday, we are live at 1 p.m. Eastern. Mark Lawrence, Victor King, every Friday. Now, we have a game going on right now. Braves, Mets, double dipper. But before we get into let's not even bother about that. We were just talking before we came on because we got some matchups here, and we're talking about, if Sale's going to have to go in game 2, and Chip's going to be looking at the Detroit-Houston game. So I'm going to kind of talk about this, get Doug's take, and we'll roll into Chip's play on this game. I'll give it the lines here. Scooble and Sale's numbers, phenomenal. Should be the Cy Young Award winners. But we talked about Skeens and how if he started the season up there, but the Pirates are cheap. You saw him wave Rowdy Tellez 4 at-bats short of $200,000. Then they don't play who's the guy? I just forgot his name. Another veteran, nephew, not IKF.
Yes.
They don't play him 3 at-bats short of another $200,000. If I'm Paul Skeens and they're asking how things going, he should be like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can trade at the winter meetings, because what veteran kind of guy is going to want to come to a team that's going to cut you on 3 days left in the season to save $200,000 or not play you to save $200,000? Like, that's disgusting. I don't think Paul Skeens should be a Cy Young Rookie of the Year. You don't play a whole season. I don't get it. I would give it to Merrill Kelly over him for, at that point of, he's a player. Sale should be the Cy Young. You play a whole season. I think the record of your team, I know doesn't make a difference. We've seen Andre Dawson win an MVP and guys on bad team. Sale carried this team into a playoff spot, basically. off of an injury. You didn't know what you're going to get. How do you give it to Paul Skeens? Doesn't play a whole season. The numbers are fabulous, right? They're not good and esque, Doug, but I don't think he should be a Cy Young Award winner.
No, I agree. I mean, he's a tremendous pitcher. He's got a tremendous future. Certainly, it seems. And so, yes, I mean, Sales earned it. So I agree with you 100% there. Skubal has just been equally as marvelous. I mean,
fabulous.
Just dominant. And from my perspective, being left-handed, I'm all good watching these guys come in and just dominate. And again, pitching is my favorite part of baseball. And so to watch, guys being able to do what they do, it's just fantastic. But, Skeens, I mean, remarkable, interesting franchise for sure. But, whatever, on that. And that, by the way, you mentioned that I forget which one it is. I can't think of the guy's name. I think his last name isn't it Kiner? His last name actually with the K. I forget.
IKF, I don't know.
He was left out of the lineup on
Sunday
on set. By his choice though. They asked him if he wanted to bet because he would get 200,000 himself he opted out because said he wasn't in the lineup on Saturday. But I like what he said. He took the high road. He said, there's players on this team that have never played at Yankee Stadium. So you know what? They should be able to play. Okay, young guys get the opportunity. And he said, you know what? I missed a month of the season due to injury. So he goes, I would have easily surpassed this. So you know what?
He said that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
All right. Oh, so that just changes my whole spot of him. Excellent.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So he, he took the high road on that, and he said, hey, you know what? Basically money's not everything. I'm sure kind of maybe a backhanded shot at the organization a little bit, richly deserved, but still.
Yeah, but good for him saying, hey, I was hurt. I would have hit it anyway. Let the young guys play who never played here before. That's like also Malik Willis said something not similar, but along those lines when it was like, hey, it's a big revenge game going back to Tennessee. He's like, I'm grateful for them to draft me and give me an opportunity to even be here. I don't care about that. I'm just happy, it's refreshing to hear someone say, you know what? Yeah, man, I'm just glad I'm here where I am. Good for IKF to say that. I didn't know that. I thought they were just being cheap. Like, what are they doing?
Well, they might have been on Saturday, but then after all the heat they got, and then the attention was brought to it. But you know what? He handled it perfectly, I thought.
Listen, as we can make fun of, he was the Yankees. Oh, he's terrible. This guy. These guys are still making $3, $4, $5, $7 million for being basically what we make fun of as bad players. I'm sure to him it's like whatever. That's $200,000 to him. It's probably $200 to people, or $20 to some person. As crazy as that sounds. Well, we lost the chipper. We was going to do Skubal and Valdez, Detroit, Houston. Maybe he'll pop back. Sometimes a little internet woes out there. But Doug, speaking of teams coming out of the blue, Kansas City Royals. Look at this. Into the playoffs. Who saw this one coming? I did. I had over 80 their win total. I thought they would be pretty good. Corbin Burns, Cy Young type guy. He's a 150 fave here. Total is 7. Ragans had a nice year. I was just looking at one of my spots here because I had a Ragans to lead the league in strikeouts. He finished, I think, 6 behind Sale. I'm like, you little SOB, you couldn't. I think about those games where he gets pulled down like the 5th inning with like 95 pitches and 6 Ks. I'm like, oh, my goodness. He barely got over my 10.5 win total with 11 wins. I'm like, stressful. What do you think about this one? To me, the Orioles kind of blew it at the deadline. They didn't get bullpen help. Not enough pitchers. In July, I had these guys pegged for the World Series. I figured they'd go get another closer or back-end help for the bullpen because Krimble's terrible. Maybe if another pitcher besides Trevor Rogers, who's been terrible, and Eflin maybe bringing a third. Can never have enough pitching in the playoffs. No. You can have 7 starters. It doesn't make a difference. Somebody gets hurt. And they come in under 500 since the All-Star break. 150 is a big number. The upstart Royals underdog. Do you like them? What do you like in this one?
Yeah, you mentioned Ragans. Both guys in their last 3 starts. Ragans 1.42 ERA, low WHIP, so he's been excellent. Burns, as you know, or if you don't know, he struggled in August. Had some really rough outings, but he's back in top form. His ERA in his last start is a microscopic 0.47. His WHIP is under 7, and he has almost a 5-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Now, right now, as you know, playoff baseball, the way it is in the major leagues now, it's just who gets hot at the right time or who doesn't. Baltimore is trending more positively. They've won 7 of their last 10. They won both series against Kansas City, who comes in 4-6. And in the last 10 games between these two teams, Baltimore's 8-2. Burns, on the teams he's pitched for in the last 3 years, he is 30-12. Now, again, not Burns personally, but the team. But 30-12 when the money line is -100 to -150. And this season, Baltimore is 20-4, facing a pitcher that has an ERA below 3.40. It's a bigger number for sure, but you know what? You're going to get some of this in the playoffs. I think Baltimore takes game 1 in this series. I just don't trust Kansas City enough. Both bullpens are shaky. That's why that 7 is an interesting number to bet either way. So there you go. But officially, I am taking the Baltimore Orioles to take game 1.
Official Doug Upstone pick for the chat. Baltimore Orioles -150. Just so you know, I had to flip through my little pad here. You had a push last Monday with your game.
Yes.
And then a win before that. So you are 1-1. So that was not a slate on you.
No,
Chip's not here. Chip's not here, Doug.
1-1 because I had
not here. 0-2 for him. 0-2 on Monday. So last 2.
Yeah, well, he's not here.
Thank goodness he's not here. Would have gave you a loser on that Detroit game, folks.
But because I had Jaden Daniels for an anytime touchdown.
Yep.
But I missed on McLaren. Was it 56.5? And he ended
like 52 or 53.
Yeah. So it came up just short.
But on the baseball on the Mondays,
yes, a push
and a win. So, but you had a win to win before that too, the week before that. So you're doing. Thank you for providing winners here for the people. Chip, not so much on Monday. Chip, that's what happens. Chip, he gets happy on the weekends. He's crushing football, and then Monday he's not himself. He thinks he could just fly by day, come in here, and gives us 2 losers on Monday. You know what? I'll take his game. I was going to give out a couple totals on these games, but I'll jump into this Detroit-Houston matchup. Valdez 135-ish here against Scooble 123, 125. Shop around. I saw a flat 6 here. I see a 6.5. This is old school lines here when we see these 6.5s. But I got to tell you, you go over Scooble. Now his last few starts, they've been kind of like a pitcher's kind of game. You think with him on the hill, right? You look at the numbers, like, not too bad. 4-2 kind of game, stuff like that. He's had a lot of high-scoring affairs here. And at a 6.5, I know Framber is a Cy Young kind of guy for me every year. I think he'd go out. The team's good enough. 15-6 with like a 2.89 ERA. Not that he has that this year, but I'm just saying on the whole, the last 3 years, more than advertised. Very good pitcher. But you look at these numbers that he plays in Scuba. I want to take it over here. As much as Scooble is a tough lefty and teams are good against lefties, the Astros hit lefties. The Astros are always a top-hitting team versus lefties. They're a top-hitting team again in the league here. I'm going to go over. I'm going to pop up some numbers because I didn't have it this popped up here because I thought Chip would be here. But 6.5 to me, I think is too low. I know we have Scooble, who's been dominant, Triple Crown guy for pitchers, as good as Sale has been. I mean, a phenomenal year for a team making the playoffs. Talk about the Royals. Let's talk about the Tigers traded Flannery and bullpen guys thinking, we're not going anywhere. And lo and behold, you're in the playoffs here thinking, wow, imagine if we had John Flannery, where would we be right now? I mean, where would that squad be? The Astros, the top hitting team in the American League, and versus lefties, they are number 1 American League, again, 269. So I'm going to go over the 6.5. Again, it looks a little too low for me. And as much as I got 2 starters who should probably go 7+. Let's be honest. The way these coaches are, they don't care. It's a 3-game series. It's going to get to 7 innings. It could be 1-1. Those bullpens come in. I do not like bullpen baseball unless you're the Cleveland Guardians. I'm not loving bullpens. Maybe the Padres underneath that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go over the 6.5. To me, it's too low. -117 is, it's not your typical 110. It's a little higher than the even money on the the under is 117. So the total is basically a flat, which I kind of like, because on that Baltimore game, believe it or not, with Burns, it was a +105 to the over. So that one there, as much as I thought that would probably be an over game, because I see that +105, I'm like, oh no. Anytime I do that, Doug, I always get screwed. I end up losing it. So I'm not doing it. I'm not going to fall for the old banana in the tailpipe on that one. But this one here, 6.5. No, it's as good as they are. I can't. Way too low for today's baseball. I'm going to go over to 6.5.
I do know that if he comes back, Chip, he did like the under in the game.
Yes, he did.
I know he did, and so if he comes, he can explain why. It's interesting. You mentioned something about Scooble with overs. The last 3 years, 21 times he's been involved in games that had a 6.5 or less total. He's 14-7. Okay, that's remarkable. Okay, to go that high. Framber in the same exact situation, 4-1 under. And this one, these guys, their stuff is just electric. It's fun to watch, and that. And so, but myself, I'm gonna lean with the under in this one too. I just think I think if they go 7 innings, to me, the most runs I'm seeing is 2-2 aside. Okay, so I could see somebody winning 3-2. I also like the fact that Framber is 12-2 this season against teams scoring 4.5 or less runs. I'm gonna go with that. But Chip officially, right?
Official Chip pays. Yeah, he's got the under. Yes.
I have something for Detroit for you. This doesn't take the place of Chip's his normal thing he does with the previous dates, but Detroit is the first team in baseball history to make the players without a guy that had 150 or more hits, without a guy that had 75 or more RBIs, without one player that hit 25 or more home runs, and without one guy that stole 25 or more bases. First team in Major League history that had none of those components in their that is.
I'm pulling up their stats. Oh, yeah. Riley Green, 24-74. That's 16 bases.
Yeah. Oh, it's all legit. It's actually from OptaStats.
How about they don't have a regular player with 140 games? How about a guy with over 100 games that doesn't hit more than 262? That's it. Carpenter hits 284.
And then after they traded Flaherty, they literally had 2 starters the rest of the year. That was it. Everybody else was a bullpen guy, or there's somebody coming back from injury that pitched, a little bit. So, it just was really strange and unusual there. I have a question for you. And looking at, I'm sure you haven't looked at it, and I just kind of looked at it. I went through some stuff. What do you, we don't know who the Padres or the Brewers are going to play, but do you like their chances of advancing? Either one, no matter, we know who they're possibly going to play.
I thought the Braves were playing the Brewers. The Braves are going to San Diego.
If they
split. No, they split. They go. Yeah, I know, but that's a bad. I thought they're going to Milwaukee. I'm like, well, Pennsylvania, a 10-1 Braves to win the NL. The Braves are not a team I want to face. But now the fact they're facing a Padre team who's really good, so it's like, oh man, those are 2 teams I don't want to play. Those are 2 teams I want to see in the NLCS.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to get that. It's like, oh man, terrible. The Brewers somehow win. I'm not a Met backer. I don't like the Mets. I'll have to take the Brewers there. But the Dodgers, Padres, it's 2 teams I like, and I don't know what I'm going to do there because both of those were kind of be my picks to beat the Dodgers or the Phillies to get to the World Series, and I got them facing off each other, so I'm kind of in a conundrum there. And you mentioned the Tigers pitching staff. I was doing Midday Monday. We're talking about the Mets and who's pitching. Like if they win game 1, what would they do in game 2? Right? Like they don't have to win it. Who they're going to throw out. I see Skubal, Olsen, Mize, Maheda, Montero 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Brisky, Holt at 7, Fajardo 8, Hannafy 9, Herder 10. Man, 11 pitchers with starts here. The Mets literally had Sevy, Katana, Minaya, Peterson. They had like 6 guys,
right?
Because Blackburn and then Jose Budo kind of split. And then you turn on a team like this, or the Dodgers even like 10 or 12 starting pitchers. How are the Tigers? Good for the Tigers. Wow.
Oh, it's a great story. It's a fascinating story and stuff. Myself, in fact, I placed when I was looking it up this morning, I just went ahead and placed the bets. I made some small wagers. I did some extra work here. I'm not going to go through all of it, but the Padres have
No. Is Doug frozen too?
Best record in baseball since. the thing I went through, I got everybody's record that's going to be in the playoffs from September 1st and September 15th. And in Detroit was 10-3 since September 15th, but and the Dodgers were 11-3, but Padres are 9-4. Okay, so they're right there. Padres and Detroit also have the best records since September 1st of the teams that are going to make the playoffs. There's just something about the Padres this year that to me has a different feel, than past years. They have a look. There's more maturity to the team. They have a nice mix of younger and older players. Pitching staff is good. Bullpen solid. In the playoffs, it's just more about pitching matchups. And I just maybe the Dodgers can piece it all together. I don't know. I just don't see enough starters there. And then that bullpen is going to get taxed because Roberts likes, like a lot of managers in the postseason, he likes to go to the bullpen at the first sign of trouble. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. So
the bullpen's been overused all season because you had guys going 5 innings. So that's going to come back and bite you in the butt eventually.
It seems like it. Yeah. So I bet the Padres to win the National League, and I made a equally small bet on them to win the World Series.
This is the year they kind of make noise because it's not we're bringing in Scherzer, we're bringing in Soto, we're bringing in Machado, we're bringing in Boga. Like they all made all these huge deals, and they kind of fell short.
Right
now, it's Ohtani. It's oh my goodness, here the Phillies. It's everybody but San Diego. So I'm with you on San Diego. Like I said, them and the Braves, I thought the Braves could be sneaky because the pitching is there, but the offense has been lacking all year. And the Padres have just won. I mean, they got, 93, 94 wins?
Yep.
They got the second most wins in baseball.
Yeah, that's third best record and top 7 in baseball or top 6. Yeah, I mean, right there. And we see this all the time. I mean, it's not like wild cards haven't won World Series or league championships.
We saw a crappy Cardinal team somehow win a World Series.
Oh yeah, the one that had 83 wins. Oh God,
I mean, they have 93 wins. They would have won every division except for their home.
Yeah, 83 wins. Yeah, that was. But even Texas got hot at the right time. But I mean, who had Texas win the World Series last year?
Yep.
So it's if things go, I mean, the Major League Baseball playoffs have turned into the NCAA tournament. Okay, I mean, you just don't know. It just, and even I don't know with the with the series deal. I mean, I have one for you. Speaking of Detroit, I wouldn't have I'll just say it. I don't have the courage to bet it, but. If Detroit wins today, I think they can knock out Houston.
I agree.
They're playing so well. They're so confident. No question, the experience factor is 100% with Houston. But, because you have experience doesn't always mean it happens.
As good as they are to come back and win that division, Seattle didn't hit the entire year. Texas was riddled with injuries to start the year, and they never woke up at the plate on top of it. So they were really not kind of challenged. So I'm with you. You get a win here with your ace. You're in a driver's seat because you only got to win one out of the next 2. And Houston, average-wise, they hit the ball. But they're an under team, right? This is a team that's not putting it together when you need to run, when you timely hitting. We don't know how healthy Yordi is, right? I mean, he was out. There's a huge part of their thing. Kyle Tucker hasn't been the same since his injury. Altuve's still – kind of a Hall of Fame kind of guy. But sometimes we saw last year with Arizona. We saw with Texas. Here comes Detroit with a stud frontline pitcher. I won't be shocked if they win this. No, not at all. You're right. Yeah. They could lead the series. All right, listen. Official show picks today. Doug is on the Baltimore Orioles -150. Chip not with us. Technical difficulties. Under 6.5. My plays were just kind of going to be side plays here. I like the over in kind of both of these. Now they're free. I didn't bet these games. I'm just kind of like, you know what? I'm going to go opposite thing here with playoff baseball. Some of these kind of one-off games, your ace isn't going to be ace-like. 6.5 is a little too low for me. Over both of them for me. I know it's rarely. We've never had opposites like this where it's a official show picks, but it happens when there's. Well,
and the other thing too that's really good is that this way you can protect your record. Just were talking about from last week. So you can just skim through a Monday without having to make a pick.
No. I picked both. I said in the thing I was picking something on both sides. But I'm just saying from the standpoint, a lot of times.
Come on. I'm just giving you crap.
A lot of times when I do free pick videos, they end up on my premiums because if in case there's only a game or something. So, a lot of times my pick is, that's why I want to say, hey, I haven't bet these yet. Like flat out. A lot of times if you go on my record, like, wait a second, he gives that as a free pick. He had it up here for sale. Well, if I'm going to jump into something, chances are I'm going to have a strong opinion and going to put some money on it.
Yeah,
so this case, this is not the case right now. It's a Monday afternoon.
And something else people should know, I can't speak for everybody that comes on the show, but I know for myself and basically to what you're speaking to is that this is not to say that we don't research the games, but to do the show, you have to have something to say. So you have to do a different level or a different kind of research. And then all of a sudden, when you really dig into this, all of a sudden you go like, wow, this is, I actually wouldn't have thought this until I started digging into it. And I know I've run into my intention is never to do on the line moves articles that I do at gamblersworld.com is never to have premium picks. But sometimes I dig into those games on Mondays and Tuesdays when I do it. And then by the weekend, it's like, holy cow, this is good. And so I unfortunately have to put in there. I put premium pick because I just end up liking the game that much that it comes up. So yeah, there's work that goes into this. It's not just off the cuff.
Yes.
That's my basic point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's what we try to tell people. Free picks are the free picks. Premiums at gamblersworld.net are the premium, and things were 100% high. They're guaranteed 3, 7, 30 days. Show profit or you get credit back. So, we don't tell you hit the like button and then come back tomorrow if it loses and hit the unlike button. That doesn't work like that. Speaking of, hit the like buttons. Live tonight, 7 p.m. I'll be back here, doubleheader. I'll have some player props again. Come in, chat away. For Doug, Chip Chirimbes will be back tomorrow. Me, him, and Matt Fargo in tomorrow's show. But Doug, have a good Monday. Doubleheader tonight. Doug, you have anything on NFL tonight? You got a package up?
I do. I have one of the things on the NFL, and I'm gonna actually I don't talk about this, but I have a number of articles that I have to write on Mondays this time of year. So that's why I have not been on the show, but I'm going to make an effort because I actually have a free pick that I would like to give out. I might only have 5 minutes, but I'm going to do my best to try and chime in here with you and put a smile on your face and make your day yet again, Sean. So
yes, come on in. And that's, I try to tell the guys when I do this, I'm like, even you cop in for 5 minutes and just say, hey, I like this as whether it's a prop or a side or a first quarter, but hey, my premium's up. I just want to come in. Check me out on the site. Come in and say there's some people in the chat, and people watch on the Twitter world. So that'd be cool if you come in. I know I'll be here. So
I'll do my best for sure on that.
All right, for Doug Upstone, the missing link, Chip Chirimbes, we got the milk car now for him. Hopefully he was not washed away in a flash monsoon. That would be terrible. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back at 7 p.m. tonight. Good to see everybody. Good luck.